education, the political corruption, the oil companies, lobbies, and dishonest media put together. How we choose to live our life, that's the most dangerous thing, isn't it? It's killing more people than all this stuff. And we have power over that, don't we? You can choose today to change how you live your life and stop one of the world's biggest problems right there, right now.
The biggest problem is that people are not enough educated. I guess if more people would be more and better educated, then they would be more self-aware and more aware about the problems they have, and create their own solutions. Then we will solve a lot of problems that even poor people have.
How many think it's a matter of education? Well, you're in the right place, aren't you? Well, but what kind of education should we give them?
People that are educated in Africa, they know about MP3 players, mobile telephones and everything, etc. They're educated, so they want all this. They want to be rich just like everybody else in the world.
Is that the kind of education we should give them? What industry is educating our children? You know, in America, the average youth spends 900 hours in school and 1,000 hours in front of the TV. Which is the better educator? Now, I'm not trying to put down the teachers here, but what do you think? Do you think the TV with their billions of dollars and all their knowledge about how to get into your brain is a better educator than the school system? You tell me. In her book, The Overspent American, Juliet Shore cites from her research that each additional hour of TV watched per week led to an additional $208 of annual spending. Those surveyed watched 11.5 hours per week, enough to cost them more than $2,300 a year in unplanned, likely unneeded expenditures. I don't know about you, I don't watch TV anymore, but back when I was watching TV in the United States, and they'd have these little commercials about movies, they'd say, oh man, I gotta go see that movie. Wow, it looks so good. If I hadn't watched that TV, I would have never cared about the movie. In fact, since I don't watch TV anymore, I don't watch movies, and I don't think I'm missing anything. But I'm saving a lot of money. What will 5 billion people do when they are denied our lifestyle they see on TV? You know, they got their TVs in their mud huts. That's one thing they do have.
How are you going to tell the 85% of the people in the world that are currently using very little oil that they will never be able to enjoy our lifestyles? Because today, the 5 billion people outside of the OECD, they use only 3 barrels per person per year versus the average in the OECD 18. To just double that in the developing countries, including China and all the others, to go to 6 barrels per person per year, we need 40 million barrels a day additional oil. It just isn't there. So how are you going to tell these people?
How are we going to tell them?
To me, one of the world's biggest problems is honesty. Because if you just look at the media, how they are used by governments and what they are writing aren't always the truth. If we just take a look at the Iraq War, about how they were writing about mass destruction weapons, that wasn't really the truth. We weren't told the truth.
How many think the media is one of the world's biggest problems? Wow, that was bad timing. The media, they don't want me to get this information out. Yep, they're everywhere, folks. What industry has the most influence on the media? Here we see a graph that shows the major media outlets in the United States and England also. And these are the X's represent people who are board of directors on both media outlets and in the oil companies. So we see there's at least one representative of an oil guy in each of these major media outlets. So that means if they don't want to get certain information out, they can vote it away or block it or whatever. Look at this. A.L. Time Warner, one of the biggest ones, that has 4 oil guys on their board of directors. Is that industry really interested in promoting alternatives to the competition, any competition? This is Olof Tickström here in Sweden. He ran his car made of homemade hydrogen in the 1980s. 1980s he ran his car across Sweden on homemade hydrogen. But it wasn't reported in the media. That's what he has to say. Okay, why don't we hear about this on the news? I mean, you should be on the news.
Well, in 1985, when it was open for the politicians and to the competition on the market, I was blacklisted as an information man on this. We are dealing with unwanted technology.
One big problem that I think is that there is not that much of freedom. We in Sweden, we think that we can say everything and we think that we can do everything what we want in our heart. We are restricted from all the commercial things that goes on us, that tells us how we shall look, what clothes we have to buy, what cars we have to drive, and what houses or how we act and react, and what we think. And when we read newspapers and magazines, they tell us one truth, and we think that that is the thing how to think. So freedom is much more than just I can say what I want and I can feel and I can do what I want and things.
I mean, I think that is one of the biggest problems in the world, the media influence on our lifestyle. Not so many. Who's really dictating your life choices? It's interesting. Watch this.
In 1998, Western International Media, Century City, and Lieberman Research Worldwide conducted a study on nagging.
We asked parents to keep a diary for 3 weeks and to record every time, you can imagine, every time their child nagged them for a product.
This study was not to help parents cope with nagging. It was to help corporations help children nag for their products more effectively.
We do have to break through this barrier where they do tell us, or they say they don't like it when their kids nag. Well, that's just a general attitude that they possess. You can manipulate consumers into wanting and therefore buying your products. It's a game.
Children are not little adults. Their minds aren't developed. And what's happening is that marketers are playing to their developmental vulnerabilities. The advertising that children are exposed to today is honed by psychologists. It's enhanced by media technology that nobody ever thought was possible.
The more insight you have about the consumer, the more creative you'll be in your communication strategies. So if that takes a psychologist, yeah, we want one of those on staff.
I'm not saying that it's wrong to make things for children. You know, and I also think it's important to distinguish between psychologists who work on products for children, who help toy corporations make toys that are developmentally appropriate. I think that's great. That's different from selling the toys directly to the children.
Initiative is huge. I think in the U.S. we place about $12 billion of media time. So we'll put it on TV, we'll put it in print, we'll put it in outdoor, we'll buy radio time. So we're the biggest buyers of advertising time and space in the U.S. and in the world.
One family cannot combat an industry that spends $12 billion a year trying to get their children. They can't do it.
They are tomorrow's adult consumers, so start talking with them now, build that relationship when they're younger, and you've got them as an adult. Somebody asked me, Lucy, is that ethical? You're essentially manipulating these children. Well, yeah, is it ethical? I don't know. But our role at Initiative is to move products. And if we know you move products with a certain creative execution, placed in a certain type of media vehicle, then we've done our job.
Think she has kids? That's the corporate mindset. You're just a tool for them to manipulate. Now they spend $12 billion a year. Who has the budget to be able to pay them? Who's their biggest customer? $100 billion a year?